it doesn't matter who you are. Know what you want in life. Know what you want to get out of life. Know who you want to be around in life. The world's a fucking sleep. I'm just going to tell you, it's asleep.
I would say I put myself on the shoulders of giants to learn, and the giants, including yourselves. Guys, we're with Coach Ian from the Elliott Group.
What's up?
Thank you for coming on.
Hey, I'm excited, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Let's kill it.
Coach Ian, you've put me on a lot of game for a lot of the sales guys that don't know you yet.
Yeah.
Could you give us a little intro?
Yeah, well, number one, dude, I just really like your energy. Like a lot of guys out there right now, you know, he sees us walking through, he's like, hey, dude, I want to get you on my podcast. In sales, you got to be an initiator, right? You got to be able to like see something and go after it and go get it. You know what I mean? So number one, I like your energy. I like that you're just out here attacking. We're at SolarCon. And then number two, who I am is I was one of the top car salespeople in the world for the last 10 years, the last decade. Andy Elliott was one of my mentors that really changed the game for me and helped me to be able to give back to others, you know, like you guys, to be able to just show you some of the ways that we did it, some of the ways not to do it, and some of the ways to grow. Now we run the biggest sales training company in the world, and it's just our mission to really help people grow and become the best versions of themselves. So the last couple of years we've been in solar, automotive, dominated automotive. Now we're in solar and a bunch of different industries. Sales is sales, and we just want to teach people how to be the best that they can be.
For the lost 21-year-old that's out there and doesn't know what path to take, what would you tell that lost 21-year-old?
Well, I was a lost 21-year-old. I was 20 years old when I got into the car business, and I just didn't know what to do. I knew that there was something within me that wanted to be great, but I just didn't know how to do it. I came from nothing. You know, it was like kind of a Jerry Springer shit show, just kind of a mess a little bit. I had a good mom that was in the military that just worked really hard, but I was just kind of a kid that was kind of troubled, right? And the reason why I was troubled was I had something in me, and I wanted to expose it. I wanted to rip it out. I just didn't know how to do it. So if I was lost, number one, what I would do is I'd find a mentor. I'd find somebody who's been where I want to go. Somebody who's doing something like this guy out here who's done something that you can take some knowledge from. Make sure that you're learning from the right people. Make sure that you're plugged in with the right people. If you're 21 years old or 20 years old or 30 years old, dude, there's so much information out there. Don't get the bad information, get the right information, and then what you have to do is go attack. So when I was 20 years old, I found a guy like Andy Elliott, the Grant Cardones of the world, and really I just took what they said and then I executed, and then I became really good at just staying on the mission, staying disciplined, staying consistent. Dude, if you have big dreams and then you do shitty work ethic, or you don't do what the coach tells you to do, well, then you're just gonna really be down on yourself. You know what I mean? So whatever your dreams are, align your action with what your dreams are, with what you're learning, and then you're gonna become great, like you. You know what I mean? So if I was lost at 21 years old or trying to figure it out, I'd get into sales and I would start attacking, because you can change your whole life very fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a notepad out.
I'm fucking pumped, man. You know, I'm jacked up, dude. I'm just fired up, dude. So this is great.
Knowing all the knowledge that you know now, if everything were to be taken away, Coach Ian, and you had to build a super team, what would be the first avenue you would take to build a super team?
Like if my team were to be taken away or something like that?
Right. Well, if everything were stripped away, but you had the knowledge you have now, how would you build that super team?
Well, number one, nothing can be stripped away from me. I don't believe that anything can, because, you know, I've got something within me. It's called security. And a lot of people have security in cars and all this other shit that doesn't matter. I've got security in my skill set. And so even if I go broke, and I've gone broke, I've gone bankrupt because I've made bad fucking decisions because I didn't know how to manage lots of money, okay? But it was, at those times, at those hard times, I was able to count on one thing, my skill set. You can put me anywhere, anytime, in any industry, and I'm gonna be able to sell my way out of it and really recreate my life very fast. So the skills of sales, you're never gonna lose it. Like, you're never gonna lose it. You learn something one time and you continuously do it, you could go to any industry, you could be stripped of anything, but you've got the security in yourself. So personal development, the things that you learn, the things that you have in here, how sharp you are in here, I'm not worried about losing it. I've lost shit all the time, but I've never lost my skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Bang.
So it's no big deal, dude.
Bang.
You know, it's part of life, you know? So...
Guys, what's something that you would leave, like some sauce that you would drop right before we wrap up? What's some sauce that you would drop that lost kid out there?
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. What have you, so you were saying that you'd learned a couple of things from us. What were some of the things that you've learned that you're like, man, dude, those are a couple of things that helped me? Because you're a guy that I've seen that just keeps fighting, keeps growing, keeps learning. What do you think makes you different than some of the guys out there that don't take action? Like, what made you walk over here and say, hey, bro, I want to do this podcast? I'm like, when? You're like, right now, let's go. Like, like, I'm always curious, like, what makes a person work? You know what I mean? So tell me a little bit about that.
I
want to flip
appreciate
the
that
script on
question.
you. You know?
I appreciate the question.
Yeah.
I would say being persistent. Like, I've been bugging you the whole solar con to get you
texting
on.
me and shit. I'm like, damn, dude, this guy's really. And see, that means to me that you really want it, because some people say they want it, but they don't put the persistence, like you're saying, into really wanting that shit.
Yeah,
you know?
And I would say watching your guys' videos, like being a closer, like I'm 100%. I'm 21 years old, but I'm not a closer now, but I know I'm on the right path.
You're a closer, bro.
I know
you
I'm on the right
me.
path.
You're closing Andy on all this shit. You're closing, and dude, you're closed on you. And see, I can tell he's a closer because he's closed on, like, going after his dreams and his vision. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what a closer is. A closer isn't just somebody that's just closing a transaction. A closer is somebody who's closing themselves on the vision that they want, and then they're attacking it. So to me, that's the most important closer that there is, because you know what you want, and you're deciding what you want. It might change a little bit, but you're constantly closing yourself on going and doing shit that you don't want to do. I am 100% sure that you probably didn't want to walk over and ask to do the podcast or whatever, but you're like, let's go. Like, I'm going.
Fuck it.
Yeah, and that's what a closer is. I love that shit.
It's conquering the inner bee. I always call it, like Andy Frisella says it. So I would say being persistent, and I really appreciate, like, I would say I put myself on the shoulders of giants to learn, and the giants, including yourself. So
I love that, dude.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Well, number one, I love that. And if you're watching this, you got to attach to people like that want to win. If you're a younger guy, an older person, whatever, it doesn't matter who you are. Know what you want in life. Know what you want to get out of life. Know who you want to be around in life. Like, this guy, I'd be around him all the time. You know why? Because I can see progression in his eyes. I can see growth in his eyes. I can see a person who wants to win. And there's not a lot of people like that. The world's a fucking sleep. I'm just going to tell you. It's a sleep. You can walk by 100 people. I can look in their eyes, and it's the window to their soul. So how do your eyes look? Are you on fire? Are you excited? Are you seeing all the money that's out here? Dude, you see how much money's out here?
A lot.
Dude, there's like 10 billionaires walking around.
Yeah.
There's 150 millionaires walking around. And some people are like, there's a shortage of money. Dude, you don't get it. There's not a shortage of money. You have to gain a perspective. Sales is all perspective. Life is all perspective. If you adjust your perspective, then you're going to be on fire. You're going to be going after it. And I'll do this shit all day. So I don't know if we're ending right now, but I'm freaking fired up. And if you're out there, what you need to do is you need to reach out to this guy. And you can really reach out to him and say, hey, man, what are some things that got you to where you're at? How are you doing these things? You know what I mean? And that's what I wanted to ask him. Like, dude, you're different than everybody else. I can see that you're different. I can look at somebody and say, dude, there's something going on with you. And I like that, because I can tell in 2 years, in 3 years, people are going to be like, how did you do it, Luis? And you're going to be like, you probably, even if I told you, you probably wouldn't do it. Which means is he's got a persistence in him. He's building a character within himself. He's building an integrity within himself. He's building a resolve in himself that most people just won't get. So, number one, I'm proud of you, dude.
Thank you, man.
I like that you're watching the content, but more than anything than watching the content, I like that you're fucking executing the content.
Thank you,
You
man.
know, you're pushing yourself. You're getting outside of your comfort zone. So,
how have you guys been able to create, like, such an army like this? Like, you being one of the founding members of the Elliott Group, like, how have you been able to, like, create all of this? You guys have a McLaren. Did you get that McLaren out there?
yeah, it's pretty sick, isn't it? Well, you know, it's the people. Like, if you look around, you see an army. Like, if you look over here, you see all these guys. But all these guys are just like him. All these guys are guys that just wanted to grow. All these guys are just people that wanted to go attack. And so what we did was we just led by example. It's called self-leadership. You know, there's a lot of people out here that will tell you to do something online, but they're not doing it themselves. And so what we did was, number one, Andy Elliott leads by example. He is who he says he is 100% of the time, right? And then that wore off on a lot of us to be who we are, that all of these guys then became part of our program. All of them are top performing salespeople in their industry, and they're all servant heart leaders. And so then they just decided to join us, and you know, we run like an army because we all believe the same, and we all just want to be better at what we're doing.
Now that you've dropped a lot of sauce, I hope you guys have a notepad out.
Yeah.
Coming up, you mentioned that you had like a Jerry Springer upbringing.
Yeah.
Being able to navigate all of those choppy waters, how were you able to do it?
Well, yeah, like, so my upbringing was, I'm from the hood. Like, you know, you can probably still hear it in my voice. I'm sharp, but, you know, I got that grit and grind and that hustle in me, you know what I'm saying? And you can't take that out of me. But, you know, I had a mom that was in the military, so she was fighting hard for, you know, our 3 brothers and sisters. So we had somebody that was away all the time doing what she did. So I didn't have like bad parent. I had a dad that left. He was drug addicted, alcoholic. So he was never around, man. You know what I mean? So, but I lived somewhere where you had to put like a cinder block in front of the door to, like, you know, make sure it was locked, that kind of shit, you know, starting out.
Really?
And so, you know, what I was able to see was a lot of people settling in life, a lot of people giving up in life. And then I had part of my family, so I had kind of like a rich dad and a poor dad setup. I had a grandfather that, you know, really pursued his dreams. He opened up schools and like they did all these amazing things. And then I had this family that just didn't do shit, that just settled. And I could see the difference in people. Dude, there's people who settled and people who don't. People who don't pursue their dreams and people who do. So I was able to see and my grandfather never made tons and tons of money, but what he did was he left an impact. And he created something where he was happy with himself, happy with his life. He was kind of famous around the area for just changing lives, right? So for me, all I had to do was look across the street and see people that sucked at shit and that just gave up. And then I could see people that were obsessed with life, obsessed with being better, obsessed with freaking living a great life. And it was kind of really easy for me to navigate. Now, I got in a lot of trouble because I started to, you know, have those tendencies of hanging with the wrong people, right? Just hanging with the wrong people and going the wrong direction. But, you know, life kind of quickly adjusts when you know where you should go and you can correct. Andy always says the person that self-corrects is worth the most money. I started to see that I could go that way really easily, like my poor dad, poor habits, poor mindset, or I could go, you know, in a way of like the rich part of my family, which was rich in habits, rich in life, rich in, you know, fulfillment. So I just chose really simply, I said, that's stupid as hell. I don't want that. Those people don't know what they're doing. Over there, those people are experts. They want to win. They want to freaking navigate. I'm going that way. You know what I mean? I'm going that way. It's like, dude, in the world, it's so simple. 2 + 2. You do bad shit, you're going to get bad problems. You do good shit, you're an expert in your career, in your focus, in your field. You can get whatever you want. So I was one of the first people in my family to make $500,000 in selling cars, you know what I mean? And really just killing it. So, and where I come from, making $100,000, you're a millionaire, you know, from what we thought. So it started to pay off. The more I started to focus on myself, the more I started to work on myself, the more I started to work on those habits and those rituals, it was like, dude, everything's possible. You know what I mean?
And
so, yeah.
How were you able to find like that group of friends that propelled you to that next level?
Well, I think the more that you focus on yourself, the more people can tell who to hang around. You know what I mean? And so the more I just started studying myself and mastering myself and dominating myself, it was like I started gaining mentors out of just the freaking world. It was like the world started to give me what I was looking for because I wasn't looking for bad shit. I was looking for good shit. And it was like the world just started circulating me money, skill, you know, mentors, good friends, not bad friends. So whatever you're looking for, and sometimes you don't know what you're looking for, that's why you're finding shit, but whatever you're looking for, you're going to find, I believe. So I was looking for greatness, I was pursuing greatness, and shit just started to flow my way. And maybe that's luck, I don't know. But all I know is if you're freaking doing what you're supposed to do, somehow shit works out pretty good. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of sauce. Thank you. What keeps, and my last question, what keeps coaching and waking up in the morning to go attack the day every single day?
Guys like you, man. Guys like you. Seeing that you're out here attacking, bringing your brother, you know, to do these things and just doing different stuff. That's the stuff that really gets me fired up, you know, like it's past money for me now. You know, our company's a 9-figure company, but so it's kind of past money. It's more like, you know, seeing where you're going to be in 2 years, 3 years, seeing people out there that go from, you know, the life that they're not proud of to the life that they're proud of, and how fast it can happen for people. Me seeing all those stories just gets me jacked up because I see a kid that's 17, 18 years old. I see him in 2 years. They look different. They act different. They're making more money than I was making at 21 years old. And I'm like, dude, like, can you imagine, like, that? To me, that just keeps me on fire. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm about to jump through this damn camera, because I'm like hoping that one of you wake the fuck up and like know that like everything's possible in your life. And if you really truly believe how I'm speaking and how he's speaking, well, then do something about it. And if you do something about it, that's all the payment that I need. And that's the shit I live off of.
Damn.
You know? Yeah. I get jacked up, dude.
Epic, bro.
You know,
fucking epic.
So take some damn action, you know? Take some damn action out there, you know? And that's all you got to do is take action, execute, and get better a little bit every day. And over the compound over effect of a year, of 6 months, if you can do the right thing every day for 6 months, it'll change the rest of your life. You know, get around the right people. Plug into the right stuff. Plug into the content that we have. Plug into his content. And watch it change your life.
Where can they find you on Instagram, social media?
Yeah, Coach Ian Macklin, Coach IAN, MACKLIN, Andy Elliott on YouTube. And my phone number 480-780-2203. It's 480-780-2203. You can always text me if you got questions.
Dang.
You know what I mean?
Thank you so
Good,
much,
man. Thank you, dude.
I appreciate you.
Fired up.
Thank
And
you.
hey, shout out to this cameraman. He's in all these crazy ass angles and shit.
Yep.
He's, you know, got to stay in shape for this.
Shout out to Brody.
Brody's doing it, man. So thank you, man.